Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and welcome to a very special episode of Stuff That Makes Me Happy. Why is this a very special episode? I learned what Secret Mountain Fort Awesome is. Let's just say I need cheering up. And that rant will come. Just give me some time to formulate my hatred and anger into coherent words. But today, we are going to be looking at a fairly obscure collectible figure-type game system thing. It's one of those trading games, where you can play with the figures, kind of like, a little bit like, let's see here, maybe you got Mighty Beans, a little bit like, what else we got? A little bit like Crazy Bones, those type of little toy things that you could buy in packs and play all sorts of different games with. Today we are going to be talking about Knack-Knacks. And they're a part of Stuff That Makes Me Happy. So before we get to playing, let me show you what your essential Knack-Knack is. It's basically this thing. It's a little figure that has a head and a body. It can look like this, it can look like this, it can look like this, it can look like all sorts of things. Really, anything can be made out of these creatures. And basically, they twist, and they bend, and they click, and they make a little click-click sound. I don't know, maybe that's where knack-knack comes from. It sounds like knack-knack. I don't know. But, these are the knack-knacks. So, basically, the distinguishing feature between most of them are what little hook-type things they have. And this will come in handy in play later on. See, this one has the flat hook. This one has, this is just a little flat. This is like the hook itself. Some of them have hooks on feet and hands. These would probably be the best ones, I guess. Some of them have like these little flaps for hands and hooks for feet and hooks for hands and flaps for feet. Some of them have nothing, just flat. Aside from your average knack-knacks, the only variations that I own are McDonald's for a short while had little knack-knack toys. And I do believe this game was about maybe 2003-ish, very early 2000s. I can't really give you an exact date, but here's the McDonald's one. Comparing it to a regular knack-knack, its feet are hollow, its hands are hollow. Honestly, it's kind of cheating if you use these. It doesn't have a back. I don't know, maybe I just didn't put the stickers on. Maybe it came with stickers. I had to do it myself. I don't know. They twist. Their necks twist, their heads twist, and this really gruesome neck snappy type thing. They takes a little bit more to bend these things. They're really, I don't want to say cheap, more cheaply made versions, but they're just kind of not as useful. And then the other variation is this guy here, who's essentially the shiny knack-knack. Everything had to be, there always had to be the rare shiny of any of these collectible things, and I do believe this came with this, the knack-knack, I guess you could call it kind of a playmat type thing. It's not necessarily required for play, however, it's one of the cool accessories you can get, I suppose, and you can play off of it. So, let me just basically explain to you how this game is played. You can, like I said, you can use this. For now, let's just basically start with a flat surface. You want a flat surface. And there are two die here. They're very oddly shaped here. This one says stack on 3 sides and ground on the 4th side. As you can see, the letters are chopped up a little bit. That's kind of weird. And then this one it has hand, foot, and head. I showed you that in complete wrong order. Head, hand, foot, and then wild, which means whichever of the 3 you choose. And basically what this means is ground or stack means that you either, let's say this was the game thus far, there were just these 2 placed like this. If you got ground, you would have to put one on the ground. And that's obviously the easiest thing to do because it's hard to knock over something that's on the ground. The goal of the game is to basically not knock anything over. It's like reverse Jenga, kind of. I don't know. If I had to give it something like So basically that's ground. Stack would be, obviously, you have to stack it on another knack-knack. Again, you don't want anything to fall, especially not yours, or else the game is over and you lose. I do believe that's how it was played. And this determines what you have to place where. It's very specific. I guess you could play without this if you didn't want to, or you could just play just stacking these things however you like, if you really wanted to. It's one of those games where the rules could be varied, you know, to play however you felt like playing, because you're a kid, so you don't really always have to follow the rules. But anyway, let's say I rolled a stack hand. See how the hands are out like this? I could just plop it down like this. I could, let's say this one was out like this, I could try and finagle some sort of, you know, like that, if, you know, if I were to balance it like that, I don't know. You know, if it was head, I'd have to do something crazy like, you know, put the head like this, but I don't think, oh, there we go. And if it was foot, you know, same thing like that. The hooks are pretty useful, you know, you can hook them onto each other. And if you want to get all fancy schmancy and play with this thing is supposed to, well, let's see. Okay, it's not working. I replaced the batteries. It did not work. I do believe it's supposed to shake, or it's supposed to move back and forth or something, just to make it even more challenging and fun. However, I can't get that to work. But what it is essentially it's the same game, but with automatically included surfaces. So like there's already things to clip onto and hang onto, and you know you could stack stuff up on top, and it was just like a more intense, crazier way to play. And that's it. That's pretty much knack-knacks. I don't know how these things were sold. I think they were sold in like groups of 3 or something. I don't have too many. I've got like a few of them. Quite a few, I guess. Just not as in, nowhere near as many Mighty Beans or Crazy Bones that I have. And yeah, it's a pretty fun game. It's nothing really it's nothing complicated. As far as getting your hands on these things, I don't think they'd be too rare on eBay, but I don't know how often they would show up on eBay. It's kind of an obscure thing, and it really did not catch on in the least. These were one of the things that I got from KB Toys back when KB Toys was around. I think it still is around. I shouldn't say that, but back when KB Toys actually was quite heavily featured around. KB Toys now is, if it still exists, and I believe it does, only in a very few places, as opposed to where it used to thrive. I guess the toy market's gone down, and that hasn't gone down. It's gone to Walmart and Toys R Us. But yeah, so that's knack-knacks. I hope I kind of entertained you and just showed you a little bit. The series might be taking more of a, kind of turn towards nostalgia for me. Not necessarily 90s, don't worry about that, I'm not obsessing over the 90s. But, I think the series is going to focus more on childhood toys and games and stuff like that. So, maybe next time we'll be taking a look at that SpongeBob card game that I showed you in the last episode. Or maybe we'll take a look at Mighty Beans, or Crazy Bones, or Beyblades, or who knows. But, yeah, join me next time, and remember, don't get too tense about things. Pie Guy Rules, out.